Ladies and gentlemen, on today's episode of the worst chess gameplay ever, we have an absolute battlefield of a game between the users Nikaso27 and GameOver4995. This game was titled The Fatal Attraction but 300 ELO by a very official and trusted source. The players are given an honorary Grandmaster title before the analysis, and let's see this absolute abomination and catastrophe of a game that will make you go insane. Game starts off with e4, great opening followed by e5, temporarily blocking any further progression for white's e-pawn, followed by knight to f3, attacking black's e-pawn. So far, so good. Black responds with knight to c6, defending his e-pawn, followed by knight to c3, developing the knight, and black responds with the inaccuracy of moving the bishop to d6, and the reason why is because it blocks the progression of the d-pawn. A great alternative would have been bishop to c5. The inaccuracies of black were followed by bishop to c4, developing the bishop, and knight to f6, developing the knight. d3, kingside castle, and bishop to g5, pinning the knight to the queen, followed by the very great move, bishop to e7, removing the pin from the queen and defending the knight. Absolute greatness was followed by the foolish d4, losing white material after all the trades are complete. The opponent misses the chance and plays d6, defending the e-pawn, followed by pawn captures e5 and black's d-pawn recaptures. White plays queen takes d8, forcing the trade of queens early, and black does the foolish mistake of capturing with the bishop instead of the rook. And the reason why, is because capturing with the rook gives it more squares while leaving the bishop guarding the knight. Knight d5, a move that will be followed by the greatness of knight takes e4, avoiding the trade and attacking the bishop. Now, this is 300 ELO, and some of you more experienced players might find this stupid, but correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. This greatness was followed by bishop takes d8 and rook captures back. And white does the mistake of long castles, hanging a knight fork of both rooks, knight to a5, missed chance of forking the rooks but attacking the bishop, and the rook goes to e1, counter-attacking, because as they say, the best way to defend is to attack. Knight to d6, putting more pressure on the bishop, followed by the excellent knight takes e5, putting some defense on the bishop and winning material in the process. Bishop to g4, attacking the rook, f3, defending the rook and attacking the bishop. Bishop retreats to h5, maintaining a pin on the pawn. And that move was followed by the seemingly mysterious knight takes c7. Rook moves to c8, attacking the knight, which is followed by the mysterious and anonymous bishop takes f7 check, sacrificing the bishop. Black doesn't capture the hanging bishop for some reason and goes king to f8, a blunder allowing a fork of the king and knight. White moves the knight to e6 check, forking the king and rook, king to e7, knight takes d8, rook captures back, and the bishop takes h5. Black blunders once again, with knight to c4, and white does the brilliant knight to c6 double check with the side of a fork of the rook. Black cannot capture any of white's pieces during this check, so king goes to f6 and knight takes d8. Black goes g6, attacking the bishop, nice move, but white responds with rook to e6 check. Black cannot capture the bishop because they're in check, and respond with king to g5. White responds with bishop to g4, threatening mate if black does a mistake, and black goes knight to b6, a blunder. White goes knight to f7 check, and the king has two squares he can go to, either f4 or h4. f4 is a blunder because it allows checkmate with pawn to g3, while h3 avoids mate in move 26. Black blunders and responds to the check with king to f4, and the game ends with the beautiful pawn checkmate. The king goes all the way from g8 to f4 through a series of coordinated moves, allowing for checkmate with the pawn.